role and find a role. I mean, we've seen it in the past with, guys like Jacob Jordan contributed last year. You could see that from some of these other guys as well. You never know. The final one.
You are Locked On Sooners, your daily podcast on the Oklahoma Sooners. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Thanks again for making Locked On Sooners your first listen every single day. Shout out to all the everydayers out there. Tune in and subscribe to the show wherever you get your podcasts. We're part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. So Garrett Nussmeier took to the podium on Monday and was asked about a couple former Oklahoma Sooners, Nick Anderson and Bauer Sharp. And here's what he had to say. Both of those guys are unbelievable players. So I'll say for one, Bauer has kind of added another level of backbone to our offense. And that type of mindset he has. He's ready to take somebody's face off and he can make plays and he's electric with the ball in his hand. We saw it a little bit. Unfortunately, the circumstances around Bauer Sharp didn't allow us to see it enough.
Not enough.
Because the offense was trash. But Nick, on the other hand, is around the same way. He's very electric, very, very good football player and makes plays on the ball in the air that are unbelievable. For him and me, it's about getting the chemistry down and the timing and getting on the same page on things. And that's what the summer has been for in spring ball. Very excited for Nick and looking forward to what he's going to be able to put out this year. Also, shout out to Nick. Hope you're recovering well. He was in a car accident. Brian Kelly disclosed that on Monday. He's not expected to miss more than a week of time. Should be back in time for fall camp.
Yeah, I kind of echo where Garrett Nussmeier is talking about these players because I've been on record saying that I would like to have Bauer Sharp here because I think that he would be great when he's not the main person. Like he's not your number one option in passing and running and catching, like all three, which is kind of an issue you run into, right? You don't want
your
tight end to be all those. Heck, we've seen it one time already, and
one time was enough.
Exactly, and that was a very bad situation. And so because of that, I do echo what Garrett Nussmeier said. And I mean, he has some very interesting quotes, and you could feel the confidence in him. And it's funny because the confidence oozing out of him like it was, you had some folks on ESPN kind of talking about asking questions if Brian Kelly should, shift to a more run-friendly, quarterback in comparison to what they currently have in Nussmeier, who's not as mobile. And that kind of led from the questions about their offensive line.
Yeah.
And Brian Kelly addressed that as well. He talked about he is very bullish on his offensive line because he feels like even though they lost 4 dudes into the draft, that the guys behind are ready to play. Be honest, John, I'm not at the same spot as him mentally, but at the same time, by the time we see them at the end of the season, they should be jailed. So they're going to be a challenge.
Yeah. What Oklahoma's going to face in an LSU offensive line is going to be completely different than what Clemson's going to face in an LSU offensive line.
Yes.
So whatever you see week 1, just file it away because
it ain't gonna be
not going to be the same thing. But yeah, I mean, Bauer Sharp, for the issues that Oklahoma's offense had last year, he wasn't the biggest issue.
He was not.
Seth Luttrell, Joe John Finley put him in some really bad spots. Did he make some boneheaded plays? Absolutely. Was he trying to make a play? Absolutely. You could see the athleticism. You could see the ability. Oklahoma may miss him this year.
Yeah.
We'll see. Nick Anderson, again, the whole situation with Nick Anderson, with the whole wide receiver room last year, that's going to be one of those things that maybe in a few years we'll figure out what all went down and all of the details that transpired with the wide receiver room and the health of it and the training staff. I don't think anybody really knows. Brian Kelly addressed it. He did talk about the injuries with Nick Anderson and that they were very real last year. And we saw he tried to come back and he wasn't able to.
Yep.
So he's going to be a player that does contribute for LSU where he's at on their depth chart because they've got some really good wide receivers coming back for Garrett Nussmeier to throw to. He's not going to have to be the lead guy.
Nope.
But he's going to have an opportunity to make plays similar to that 2023 season when he wasn't the lead guy then. He was the third option in the passing game, and then Andrell Anthony got hurt and he got more opportunities after that. And I mean, we saw it. He averaged over 20 yards per reception. And so the potential is there for Nick Anderson to have a big year, but a lot of it's going to come down to, with LSU, can they block it up front long enough for Garrett Nussmeier to put it down the field? Because initially in this game against Oklahoma at the end of 2024, they were not blocking it very well.
It's funny. I was actually having a conversation with somebody about that exact thing. They were saying, when you watch the LSU game and you watch LSU play, you see that they've got some good players, but it just doesn't seem like they're they were able to really produce like you would think.
Right.
And you're watching, it's like the eyeball test to them was that. And I was like, didn't think about it that way.
Yeah.
Right. And you're right. Because when we went up against them, I mean, that strip sack fumble touchdown made me be like, wow, that Will Campbell's going in the top 10 and he went number 4.
Mm-hmm.
So it was like, oh, this is a lot more interesting than I thought it would be.
Yeah.
So I guess the question is going to be what that blocking is going to look like for LSU. And also on Nick, the question I have is, how does he move up in the depth chart?
Yeah.
We talked about this before. If there's one thing LSU's got, it's wide receivers.
Yep.
They figured that room out every single year. I mean, they're fighting right now for one of the top ones today, but they figure it out. It's like them and Ohio State somehow have a cheat code when it comes to them, or Alabama's been doing that over the last few years as well. I mean, actually all the way back to Julio Jones, which is still really weird to me in the Julio Jones era, but they all have found ways to get these random wide receivers. You're like, wow.
Yeah.
Oklahoma was like that too. And I guess that's how Nick Anderson found him.
Yeah. And I actually talked about that on yesterday's show, Jay, that there are some schools that they've just created this self-fulfilling prophecy at certain positions.
Yeah.
And Oklahoma in wide receiver recruiting battles, they've got to fight a lot right now. They've got a lot of negative recruiting out there. And the only way to do that is for this group to go produce, for this group to go have a big year, to rewrite some of that narrative, rewrite the script a little bit, because right now they have nothing to hang their hat on because 2024 was a disaster.
But now, like I said, they've got to find something to hang their hat on, and then they can, prove everybody they can do it.
And I mean, you could say the same thing a little bit for offensive line. Now, thankfully, Bill Bedenbaugh was able to withstand everything that transpired in the 2024 season and land Michael Fasusi and Ryan Foje, and then come back in the 2026 recruiting class. And, he's landed a Noah Best and he's landed a Deacon Schmidt, blue chip prospects on the offensive line. Now it's up to Emmett Jones to get that group up and going, because I remember, man, at the end of that 2023 season, how hyped we were for the future, because Nick Anderson had just had the season that he had, averaging 20 yards per reception. Jaden Gibson started getting looks as the 4th wide receiver, was averaging over 20 yards per reception, and absolutely punked a TCU defensive back while he drug him to the end zone, literally, while he's like celebrating with the fans 5 yards out from the end zone. Just
hand up in the air. It's beautiful. He's just like, oh, touchdown.
If a wide receiver or was a picture, it'd be that one.
That would be it, definitely.
It's not that long ago that Oklahoma's wide receiver room was really, really good.
Yeah.
It's just everything that went bad on the offensive line or on the offensive side of the ball went bad. And now Oklahoma's got to recover from it. Now, if they can land a Davion Gross, I think that gives them some really positive momentum with him and a Daniel Odom, 2 blue chip prospects for the 2026 class that Emmett Jones can hang his hat on. Ben Arbuckle can hang his hat on as they move towards 2027.
Yeah, I'm hoping Gross comes through in the next month, because we could definitely use some good luck and some good juju when it comes to that. But, hey, at some point, we're going to see this recruiting get to the point that we want it to. I mean, we still got a lot of blue chips already, and you still got a lot of time, man. It's only July.
It's only
We're going to get there. I know. I have faith in this staff. I mean, they typically have themselves done by the end of August, and we're probably in line to be closer to that again as well. Now, we may have some players, again, that we're probably chasing. We got Fasusi in August, and we still had to continue to recruit him all the way until December, just because the speculation around the staff being fired after firing the offensive coordinator, when we all knew that the offensive coordinator we're bringing in was not going to be one that's going to get rid of Bill Bedenbaugh. That's off the table.
That's right.
Susie showed you that, no, I want to play for Big B, and he played for him. So we'll see. We've got time. Let's just be patient. I know y'all aren't patient, but, I think we'll be all right.
Well, listen, I'll be honest. My faith is waning a little bit.
John, you got to be better.
I'm a hater, and it's probably only because
he really is.
I only got 2.5 hours sleep last night. So that's part of it, but that's going to do it for today's episode of Locked On Sooners. Hey, make sure you wish my man Jay a happy birthday. Thank you. His birthday on Monday as we're recording this, so make sure you hit him up both in the YouTube and on the social medias. Go follow him on Twitter, Unfair Sport.
Yeah.
He says X, I say Twitter.
I say Twitter.
I'm a
expert.
I'm a traditionalist. Can't help it. Make sure you subscribe to his show on YouTube, Unfair Sports, as well. You can follow the show at Locked On Sooners wherever you get your podcasts. We're free and available on all podcast platforms. Go check out the portal with Brian Smith, giving you all the latest in transfer portal and recruiting news for your second listen of the day. But until next time, he's Jay Smith. I'm John Williams. We'll talk to you then. Boomer.
Sooner. Make sure you follow John as well over at John Williams. Make sure you know.